Broadcasting and streaming worldwide from the Golf Club studios, it's the Golf Club Radio Show with Danielle Tucker.
Attila Seress is president of Cypac, IT management and cybersecurity. That's the one, cybersecurity. I mean, it's incredible. He doesn't have any time.
You can buy new equipment and practice your swing, but peace of mind is the best way to improve your game. Our mission at Cypac is to safeguard organizations from cyber attacks and business disruption. We are an elite group of cybersecurity specialists providing the deepest level of cyber protection anywhere in Hawaii. As local residents with businesses and families, we are fully invested in protecting Hawaii's livelihoods and assets with the serenity that comes from having Cypac watching your network and infrastructure so you can completely focus on your next swing. Call 808-861-9595 or on the web at cypac.com. That's CYPA.com. Restoration, 24/7 emergency and disaster restoration service. COVID compliant. Fire damage repair, mold remediation, asbestos abatement. Call 528-3434. And now, get MD cleaned. Yeah. A mongoose stole my ball. What's the rule on that? Let's get back into the clubhouse with Danielle Tucker.
Attila Seress, President, Cypac, IT Management and Cybersecurity, based in Hawaii. Welcome into the clubhouse.
Thanks for having me, Danielle.
Absolutely. We were talking with this gentleman earlier about the stress and the body's reaction to it and how it makes us all tight and everything like that. That's why I said, all this stuff that you have to do over, hours and hours and hours untangling other people's problems, you needed to get microfiber reduction. But are you really busy?
I think that's an understatement. And in fact, when we were talking about preparing for this show, we were trying to figure out what to actually talk about because there's so much going on in the industry and in the world. Everyone that we talk to is worried about being hacked, and that's kind of a blanket statement. But these kind of fears stem from the news, and just in the past couple of weeks. Not just Hawaii airports, but airports all across the country were compromised by, Russian state actors. That means the guys that had ties to Russia, and they were able to get inside those websites and prevent them from loading up for passengers, and that caused a lot of concern because airports are critical infrastructure. That means that if there's any disruption in them, our entire economy stalls out, and critical infrastructure has become a major target for cyber criminals. That's not just airports, but power plants, water treatment plants. There's been several attacks on water treatment plants, oil and gas, transportation, government. So all of these are coming under attack, and in fact, these attacks occur in Hawaii on average about once every 11 minutes.
Whoa.
So if you've been listening to this for 11 minutes, there's a good chance that an attack has been thwarted on our infrastructure.
So what do they stand to gain for the attacks on our airport, for instance?
Sure. Well, think about Hawaii as a kind of the gateway to Asia. We are the primary line of defense. And in terms of warfare, there's kinetic warfare and then there's cyber warfare. And let me tell you, the kinetic warfare you can see, the cyber warfare you only see the results of. And if you think about it, think about all the resources that are here in our lovely state and that protect us from everything else in the rest of the world. And so we become a target. And if they can disrupt critical infrastructure here, it can have a trickle-down effect to potentially a military presence. It can trickle down to contractors who are working on military projects. And, if that happens, now we have a real problem because now they are disrupting our ability to be mission ready.
So this attack on the airport that you were referencing at the very beginning was the computer systems, of course, to get passengers loaded onto the airplane?
That's a great question. So there are two different types of systems, and they're air gapped, meaning that they're separated by a physical air, right? And one system runs our air traffic control. There are others that run the airports. And there's another, one additional one, which is the public-facing website for the airports. And that is the one that came under attack. It's something called a DDoS attack, distributed denial of service. What that means is that they throw a bunch of junk packets from compromised computers from all around the world, and they pinpoint a specific location and they attack that web server. And what's alarming about this is that, yes, maybe they did attack a non-critical web service. And, it was a minor inconvenience. Some people were unable to look at the airport's website for a period of time. But it could have been testing the waters. Testing the waters to see if they could, get a little bit further. I mean, obviously, they're not going to launch an attack without trying smaller attacks first. And this is what would be considered a little bit of a smaller attack. So there is reason for concern. I wouldn't say that things are over yet.
Right, and it sounded like practice to me. That's the first word that, that came through my mind when you were talking is, they're practicing to get better, to see what they can pull off. So, I love how you put this. The bad guys are at it again. FBI issued a warning that cyber criminals and scammers are going to start targeting, possibly, former students who are trying to get debt relief under President Biden's student loan forgiveness program. Now, how are they going to, are they coming? I'm always worried they're coming into my computer like I've got something, It's just, like you said, a fear. But how are they going to scam former students?
Sure. We see student scams pretty regularly. So this is not a new strategy. Excuse me. But the big takeaway here is to look for current events, and they will anchor those current events towards known strategies to get at your bank account. So those kind of events could be natural disasters, like in this case, this is debt forgiveness. And these strategies are pretty similar. So you're going to hear about, or should I say, I'm sure you've heard about the scammers, how they make folks run out and grab payment via gift cards. So they'll scare them into action.
Yeah.
The key takeaway here is that if there's anything with a sense of urgency, if you're ever contacted by phone, email, text, and they say, you need to pay us right now, it's an urgent offer, you need to run out and grab some gift cards, in fact, while I was triaging at this particular airport hack we talked about earlier, I was also triaging on that same day someone who had their, who was fooled into sending over $900 in gift cards to an old acquaintance because they were pushed into a sense of urgency about a special offer that they might not ever have again, a once-in-a-lifetime offer. So think about this. This is a once-in-a-lifetime offer. You could get your student loans, forgiven. Wow, all you have to do is send out some gift cards or give us your bank account or give us your Social Security information, and we'll take care of this for you. Put on the brakes. That's a scam.
Yeah, it's like some people have gotten calls saying, your grandson is in jail, or your nephew needs money to get bailed out. I mean, really, what state is my nephew? I don't even have a nephew. That could be someplace else. My nephew's right next door. What are you talking about? But a lot of people don't know that.
That what's sad about this is that you and I can sit here and laugh about it, but I'm telling you, People get had every day. It's because we are all good human beings at our core. We all want to help. And if someone calls and reaches out to us and says, hey, I really need some help with this, our inclination is to believe them. And the key thing here is to look for emotion. If you have any sort of emotional compromise, or if you have an emotional connection to whoever's reaching out to you, your ability to think clearly goes down 15 times. So if there's an emotional component, such as a natural disaster, or, someone doesn't, is no longer alive in the family, or you have like a romantic connection to it, which is why the romance scams have been successful for 30 years now. Everything from the Johnny Depp scams from the early 2000s, where people would dress up like Johnny Depp from Jordan and say, hey, I love you with all my heart. Please send money to my family. Those kind of things, all the way to what we're seeing here with the student loans, right? Students are desperate to get their loans, forgiven. And if there's any possible way to do that and not have this lingering decades of debt lingering above their head, which I went through personally too. This is a real problem in our society. If there's a way they get that forgiven, why not try it?
Right. Well, so what is the scam that the FBI is warning about? How do they approach someone who has a student loan, and how do they get ensnared in this?
Well, the FBI is warning that this is what we would consider an inflection event. So an event that makes it to the top of the news, right? So think about these scammers. What are they looking out for? The same news stories that you and I are seeing. And what they're more interested about is, okay, now that we have a news story, how are they going to target these audience members, right? So how can they target these victims? They're going to target them through text messages. So, for instance, a text message may come in that says, hey, click here, submit your information to be considered for a student debt loan forgiveness program. Some key things to look out for is they are also investigating, or I'm sorry, they're trying to get you to pay something up front in order for you to get something in return. The other scam that we're seeing simultaneous to this are job scams, where there are fake job listings, and applicants to those job listings think that they've been hired, so they go through an interview process, and at the very end of this whole process, they say, look, we want you to be able to work from home, but you need to buy a laptop in order to do that. We'll sell you the laptop for $1,500. Simply send us the money, and we'll send you the laptop in the mail. Complete scam, right? Wow. To think about people, that is something that we just learned about this yesterday. So this is also happening this week. So in the same way, there are students that are being attacked in the same way, right? So they'll be baited into a process, and at the end of the process, they'll be asked to pay for something. Yeah. That's how you get commitment.
Yeah, I remember the first time I got one of the text messages saying my account had been hacked, or, and I needed to click here, or, so that they could immediately do something about it. I'm like, and I was panicking, and I was calling my bank. I was like, help, my account's been hacked. I just got a message from you. And they said, we don't do that. So, while I'm laughing at myself, by the same token, I know how it feels to have that. I mean, chicken skin right now. It's just a horrible, horrible feeling.
Yeah, one thing that no one can really offer you is a hack-free guarantee. The only way that you can do that is to educate yourself and kind of stay calm on those kind of events when that happens to you. Don't take it personal. It's completely automated systems. There's a process in place. There's known psychological techniques that we as human beings are familiar with, because we see them for marketers and commercial advertisers, and those same strategies are being used to get at our identity and our money. The key thing here, though, look for a sense of urgency. I'm sure you've seen those ads in the paper that say, hurry, act now, sail through Sunday. That's a sense of urgency.
Yes, totally understand. Completely understand. So, but you take care of, all businesses. We're talking about individuals here, and I really appreciate that. But you really, you help everyone from people who have been scammed with gift cards to people who have major computer systems that are always under attack. And regardless of what level of security or what level of company that you have, Attila Seress is president of Cypac, IT Management and Cybersecurity, based here in Hawaii, and his number is 808-861-9595. So these guys are keeping you busy, and I certainly hope you're getting some swim time to relax.
I sure hope so.
Yes. Attila, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Danielle.
Absolutely.
Stay safe out there.
You too. All right, we're going to say thank you to all the people who make this show possible. We've been around the world, haven't we, today?